We all dream of a happy ending. You meet a special someone online or in your home country, and your relationship continues through long distance while you are applying for your UK visa to join him or her. You happily reunite in the UK, but what happens when your relationship or marriage fails after joining your partner here? And what are the practical steps you can do from the beginning so you don't suffer from the breakup? These are the questions we will be talking in this video. It's an established fact that you don't get to know the person you are marrying until you live with them. I experienced this myself. I came to the UK on a fiancé visa in 1994, and I didn't know that when I came, my fiancé was unemployed and had lots of debts. I only find out when I arrived in the UK. We struggled financially. We were very young. He was 23 and I was 21. He continued his university degree while I supported him and worked and held 3 jobs for us to survive. So to cut the long story short, our financial situation became better, but eventually we divorced after 14 years of marriage. Of course, my story can be different from yours. Many mixed marriages have eternally lasted, but like any other marriage, there are challenges. Mixed marriages have many issues to go through from the beginning, and throughout the marriage, there will be compromises, problems, challenges. Both people in a relationship have to compromise. In mixed marriages, one of the common conflicts within a couple is the differences in culture. These are essentially differences in doing things. There will also be a lot of arguments. I remember in my case, we argued a lot about money, and this is quite common. I'm not saying that money arguments only happen with mixed marriages, but it's common for people to have arguments because of different cultural backgrounds. For example, Filipinos will value their family and will go to extra lengths to help out with money. There is also an inherent need for Filipinos to share their blessings with their family, and we feel it is an obligation to take care of our parents in their old age. In contrast with the UK culture in particular, there is the government that will look after people if they are unemployed or no longer able to work due to illness or old age. They don't have this sense of obligation or duty to look after families because the government will look after that individual. So a conflict arises where the Filipino individual will spend a small portion of their salary to send money to their parents or siblings who are in need financially. But to the Western culture, the Western individual, this is a strange concept and many can't understand it. It is, of course, no one's fault. What values they attach to in their respective upbringings are different. And that is why a mixed marriage is riddled with conflicts. In fact, there is an analysis conducted a decade ago found that 10 years after they married, interracial couples had a 41% chance of separation or divorce compared with 31% chance among couples who married within their race. And this is according to a study based on the 1995 National Survey of Family Growth. So divorce rate is slightly higher in mixed marriages. Okay, enough about cultural lessons. What actually happens when your relationship breaks down and you are on a partner's visa? So from an immigration rules point of view, once you no longer live together, both of you have a duty to inform the Home Office of changes in circumstances. But typically, this is what happens. If the UK sponsor wants to break up or leave the marriage, he can just report to the Home Office that you are no longer together. And you, the foreign national, will receive a curtailment of your partner's visa. This means by a specified date on the letter, you will no longer have permission to stay in the UK, and effectively you have to leave. So the other effect of this is that you might lose your employment, especially if your employer checks that you no longer have the right to work. And your employer also has a duty to fire you because they can't risk paying a substantial amount of penalty for employing someone without a right to work. But don't worry if you are reported by your UK sponsor. You have also other options, and we'll discuss this shortly. Now, I wanted to discuss the issue of domestic violence and the practical steps you can do as a foreign national. What happens if there is a domestic abuse involved in your marriage or partnership, and what practical steps you can do as a foreigner? This is particularly problematic if there is abuse involved, because the foreigner's visa then gets cancelled and he or she ends up being treated as an overstayer. So if there is a domestic abuse, you must find help. You will then be able to stay and apply for a visa if you can claim successfully that you are a victim of domestic violence. Now, there's a law that defines what domestic abuse is, and you can see it on the screen, what the definition is. And as you can see, the definition of domestic abuse is quite wide, and it covers a lot of situations. But there are certain requirements you need to meet, and if you want further information about this, email me or check my other video on how to prepare your witness statement when applying for your settlement visa as a victim of domestic violence. Okay, so I can't tell you, of course, what to do with your marriage, but I hope the following practical steps will help you decide what to do after your relationship breaks down. So, as I mentioned briefly earlier, if there is a domestic abuse, explore the settlement route and apply for settlement as a victim of domestic abuse, and gather all your evidence and documents before you apply. The other option is to get divorced. If the relationship can't to be saved, then you need to file a divorce in court. And for help on this, go to www.gov.uk/divorce, and it will tell you all the information on how to start your divorce. Now, the effect of filing for divorce is you might be able to extend your visa. Now, if you are homeless and you have nowhere to go, consider registering your matrimonial home rights if your partner owns the property that you are living in. So if you're married and lived in the property that belongs to your UK partner, then when you separate, you are entitled to register your name as holding what is known matrimonial rights. This means that if you do get divorced, your husband will have to get your signature if he wants to sell the house. I have just created a video on this, and check on the video list, and it's called How to Protect Your Home Rights. So click on that, on what the procedure is for protecting your home rights. Now, if you have given up so much in terms of financial to be with your partner, such as if you had a good job in your home country and you decided to give everything up so you can be with your partner, and now you're facing relationship breakdown, consider negotiating with your partner for compensation, and you should do this as part of your divorce settlement. And if you think that the divorce process will be acrimonious, meaning it's not friendly, and you need to consider applying for an extension from the Home Office so you can be present in the UK to fight for your divorce case. And finally, don't go into a relationship thinking that it will all be rosy and that your partner will not change, because in reality, feelings change. When feelings change, so can your whole life in an instant. But as a suggestion, I would say my opinion, because I've gone through this, what you must not do when your relationship breaks down: 1 is beg. Don't ever beg. 2, don't stalk your partner if they're the ones breaking up and maybe they've found someone else. Don't stalk them. Don't hit or slap or cause a scene, because that will work against you if you then apply for as a victim of domestic violence. It can be used against you, and you may be refused. The other thing is, please seek help from authorities if there's domestic abuse. And finally, never give up. So I can't answer all questions as every situation is different, but please email me so I can help you direct you to organizations or so I can guide you on what to do. And finally, before I end, there are two things that you can do if you're desperate. One is to consider extension of your visa. If you have received a curtailment, then apply for further leave to remain. It won't be on partner. If you're unsure, email me. And two, consider finding employment that will allow you to apply for a skilled worker visa in the UK. So if you're finding that you're about to break up and you think that your partner is going to report you to the Home Office, then use your available time to find an employment and switch to skilled worker visa. Okay, so that's for this episode, and thank you for your time and for watching this video. Consider liking and subscribing for more tips on do-it-yourself immigration UK. Thank you. Bye.